How are we do? Thank you so much for joining me. I had to make another Love Island chat because so much happened just from yesterday that we just have to talk about. And here is today's order. So the first things that I wanted to talk about is just a little, not small, but just like smaller subjects concerning this cast. Oh my God, the way me and StreamYard are beefing. I just want to talk first about some fashion stuff with the Core Four. Then we are going to get into the Today Show interview that they just did today, OHLANDRIA'S podcast interview that she did with Miley Cyrus's mama. And then we're going to talk about Watch What Happens Live. We may talk about Watch What Happens Live and end with OHLANDRIA'S podcast, just because I felt like her podcast was just so sweet and so spiritual and just a bunch of manifestation. And I just would like to end on a higher note. Not that we're going to get negative or anything like that, but I just wanted to go in that order. I will say this, though. I can't show the video, but I think it's so cute how, like, Jeremiah and Ace have repaired whatever issues that they had to repair their relationship, because shout out to Hold Your Horses. Want to make sure I got the Instagram name right. Was it Instagram or TikTok? It was Instagram. Shout out to Mia Slaughter. Thank you so much for sending me the video of Jeremiah he was doing like a dance to Ace's Clock It song. And I just thought it was so cute because I think that, I think he's been wanting to like embrace Ace and everything that's been happening. But, he probably needed to clear some things up at the reunion, because I think that he probably thought that Ace and all the guys voted him out. But as Nicholas confirmed, that he didn't vote for him. So I think a lot of the cast has a misinterpretation of what actually happened because they only know but so much. So it seems like Jeremiah and Ace cleared up a lot at the reunion. And I like that. I just thought it was so cute. I said, because from the other Islanders, when they were coming out and doing interviews, everybody was saying that Ace and Jeremiah were besties. Like, I think Nick got into the group when Jeremiah fell back from Ace. So the original Ace and Acettes was Ace, Jeremiah, and Taylor. It was not Ace, Taylor, and Nick until Jeremiah fell back and started buddying up with Austin because of whatever him and Ace were going through. But they were the original three. So it seems like they cleared everything up, and the boys are back. I love that, because I was just like, Jeremiah, it's not that deep. It's not really that deep. And I just really think that, they finally all just put their pride aside and really talked and found some peace. So it seems like, honestly, from what I've been seeing online, I could be wrong, and maybe they could just be under contract and they could be, the studios could be like, don't mess this up. But it seems like everybody ended on a good note. Seems like it. Or nothing really changed from where they all stood. So we will see. The first thing that we are going to talk about is, I want to get back into Nicolondria because so much stuff is happening with them. Their media rollout, I think this is going to go on all the way up until Fashion Week, and I think they may take a break for their holidays. But the teams behind them, they are not playing. So first of all, Nicolondria, they've been in New York, taking pictures back and forth. doing the damn thing. Okay, they've really been on it. And I even said, and we talked about this in my last live, I was just like, New York looks great on them. I don't know what their teams are setting up here, but they look great in New York. But they've been back and forth, you know, walking all over. Like it seems like they have some kind of team walking with them. The core four, excluding Ace. It seems like somebody is walking with them or going to wherever they're going and taking pictures of them and posting social media content. Now, Nick absolutely is Olandria's social media manager, but it seems like there's somebody else taking pictures for the both of them. And remember, I was just like, what is happening here? Because what are they? I could not figure it out, but I knew something because it looked like money was behind this whole thing. Well, absolutely mandatory was behind this. Their teams are working overtime because tonight, actually, NikkiNicoleStar are going to be on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. So they're going to be on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. They're Agua de Café. I hope I'm saying that name right. No shade. It sounds like a racial slur. I feel like that's a racial slur in South Africa. De Agua Cafe. They are rolling out their advertisement with Nick and Olandria, and it seems like this is going to be very, very, very spicy. I also feel like Mattel is on the line because ever since we started calling her the Bama Barbie, her team has clocked in on it. They all have fabulous, the core four, they have fabulous teams. You know, Aces, I think he's on his own island. I think he would do great with management as well. I think it'll just take him a lot farther than where he is if he wants that. But I think that the Bama Barbie is coming. The Bama Barbie is coming because ever since she was called that, she has been doing the Bama Barbie thing. Everything is a Barbie look, and it eats. It eats. I also want to talk about how Nick does not play about this girl. Like, I feel like he just searches her name. Because why is he in Hollywood Unlocked comments talking about is not an option? Because I guess they were doing some poll. I don't know. I don't follow Hollywood Unlocked, but I'm assuming that they were doing some poll on who is hot and who is not. And Nick is in Hollywood Unlocked's comments. And he goes, is not an option. He has to search her name. And I think he searches his name as well. But he does not play about her. And I love it. Now, let's move on to what I think is happening with these guys in New York right now. Fashion Week is on the horizon. Like, Fashion Week is coming. And I think they're all preparing for it. The reason why I think they're preparing for it is because Olandria and Shelley have been wearing looks that I'm just like, it's giving young Hollywood starlet. You've only been out of the villa for a month at this point. How are you here? What is going on with your team? And what is the money and the powerhouse behind it? Now, remember yesterday, we talked about Matthew Reisman and that he was posting about Shelley and Olandria all over his Instagram. And Matthew Reisman is a really big fashion designer. And I was just like, that's really awesome that he is just, as this fashion designer, just really clocked in to these two Black women from Love Island. I think that's amazing. Then I checked his stories and he posted this, right? I think we talked about this yesterday as well. But he posted this and he said, Reginald Reisman and I have more coming. Hashtag the Reismans. And this was after his story showed all of these pictures of Shelley and Olandria. So then I went to Reginald Reisman's Instagram, Reginald Reisman's Instagram. And he is also, along with Matthew, a Vogue magazine contributor. So they're doing something with Shelley and Nicolondria with Vogue. I think it's just going to be a spread. I don't think it's going to be a cover. If it's going to be a cover, my God, today. I don't think Anna Wintour is going to allow that, though. at least for right now. But I do think that they are going to have a dope spread in Vogue. I don't think that it's like it. I don't think that it's up for. I don't think that it's anything up in the air right now. I think it's absolutely happening. I just wanted to hold on. I hope I'm right. Just want to make sure I have their pronouns correctly. If I don't got their pronouns right, just let me know. But I'm assuming Reginald and Matthew go by he because of their names. But let me know, and I will correct myself. So anyway, I was just like, okay, so Matthew and Reginald are working with Shelley and Nicolondria to do a shoot for Vogue. Amazing, right? Then I looked at Matthew and especially Reginald's work. Reginald and Matthew only dress A-listers. Like, so this is not by coincidence. I think this is very well thought out. And I think, again, this is another step or another brick laid towards the core four's future of becoming legitimate celebrities. Because when I did a bit more research with Matthew and Reginald, I saw that Reginald was tagging himself and styling Shelley and Nicolondria. So he is styling Shelley and Nicolondria, and I think Nick. They got like this top stylist and fashion designer working with them. This is absolutely amazing. So this duo is teaming up to work with Shelley, Nicolondria, and I believe Nick as well. And they have them draped in the latest. Like, Nick and Nicolondria have been in Versace all week. Vintage Versace. Vintage. And they are pulling the biggest designers out there, and they are being so specific. Remember, we talked about this yesterday with Nicolondria when I was closing out, and I was just like, I love the fact that she's making sure, and she is somebody that's going to continue to make sure that Black people eat. Like, she strikes me as somebody who is looking for Black people in the spaces that she wants to get into, and she's more or less collabing with everyone, but also being very strategic about making sure that she collabs with her people. Because it's the same thing with Shelley, right? Everybody that the majority of the designers that they have been in have been Black designers. Like Nicolondria, she's been draped in Hanifa. She's been draped in Sergio Hudson. She was her and Shelley were wearing Brandon Blackwood's purses. Like, they're being very strategic. They have a very smart strategic team. And I think their team, not just the ladies, but I think the team who they are working with also know who got them there. And they are making sure that they market to that audience, because we talked about it yesterday. Black women are big spenders, especially Black millennial women. They are Gen X as well, but I'm just saying that's the core audience of Love Island, or it used to be. They are big spenders, and they are intentional spenders. And now millennials are in these high positions now. So they're mainly the decision makers in their home, especially the women, because the women are the influence, and the women are, as society has it set up as of today, are the homemakers. So the homemakers are the ones, all the ads are advertising to, because those are the ones who are essentially buying things for the home, or just the one that has the overall outlook on the things that need to be paid for or bought, right? So they are the one that everybody goes to, oh, what do we need for the house? And it's normally the woman, right? So they're being very intentional about marketing to those people and letting that audience that got them where they are know, we see you, we are making content for you, and we are making sure that not only our money and our influence stays within the community that got us to these spaces. Extremely smart. Extremely smart. I am absolutely waiting with bated breath for the moment that Nicolondria and Donatella Versace have their photo shoot together. She loves to pose with her muses. I cannot not wait. A dark-skinned, slim black woman with great bazungas. Donatella gonna eat that up. Donatella gonna eat that up. Oh, child, did I freeze this? I cannot wait. Hold on, let me get my water. I feel like praising the Lord. Oh, Jesus. I'm in the mood to praise my Savior. Tonight I'm praising Jesus. I got some. Hallelujah. There we go. I'm sorry. I know fall season is upon us, but it's still very much summer in LA. Drink your water, West Coast. Drink your water. So I'm just really just floored and just so impressed by Shelley and Alandria. This is Matthew Reisman posting Shelley on his stories as well and tagging it hashtag the Reismans. So they are working on something very big with these two. And I'm telling you, I think what they are working on is something very, very huge for Fashion Week, because Alandria was in the stories of The Purple, which is a global agency for luxury brands and innovation. London, New York, Miami, LA. They're based all over. And look at the people that they work with. Look at their clients. Look at the people they dress. Like, it's A-listers. It's not a game. And she was in their stories because she was at their gifting suite. So they gifted her a bunch of stuff, and she was just like, thank you so much, Purple. I can't, she said, thank you so much, Purple, and I will be back for Fashion Week. Shelley and Alandria are going to eat. They are going to eat Fashion Week down. And when is Fashion Week? When is New York? She said, I'll be back for Fashion Week. I said, and I'll be seated. I'll be seated because I know they might be walking. You know what? Maybe Shelley, Alandria, Mama, you struggling in them hills. No shade. Me too. So I just realized hills ain't for me. I wear a nice bedazzled flat. Chew a little, and it's okay. It's okay because the high fashion shoes, they not the same as Fashion Nova block heels. Them high fashion shoes, you better be prepared for your feet to die. Fashion, especially them high fashion heels, painful. They are for the look only, not comfort. When is New York Fashion Week? September. Oh, they gonna eat. Oh, September 11th. Oh my God, we don't want to start on the 12th? Oh my gosh. They're going to eat. Oh my God. Laquan Smith. We need Alandria to walk. Let's get Nick. Let's start practicing. Where's Miss J? We need Miss J. Anyway, if Alandria closes out Laquan Smith's show, and it's a dress that I know she will eat down in. I love those girls. But I'm just like, this is huge, guys. That's why I'm so glad that they stay silent. They did not play into the petty mess. They did not get in the gutter with the Hitler youth and the hoodlums, them demonic baby mamas. They didn't get in the gutter because they knew what was ahead of them. And if they got in the mud with those pigs, they would have lost all their opportunities. I'm so proud of them. I am so proud of them. Also, Matthew Reisman, he dresses, him and Reginald, they dress and style Serena and Cordell. You know what, Serena, the in love weight looks good on you. I love this couple. Oh, Black love. I love it. Oh yeah, but this is Alandria at Purple in their stories. She said, I'll be back for Fashion Week. I can't wait. I cannot. This cast is not going to let me rest. I feel like I'm going to have to do weekly Love Island lives just to check in and see what the girls are doing. But I am so excited for all of them. So excited for all of them. Let's get into Watch What Happens Live, because on yesterday evening, Maya and Brian and Nicolondria were on Watch What Happens Live. Andy Cohen is so happy. He's so happy he finally got a show that's doing well besides Below Deck. He was so, oh my gosh, Brian is tall. He looked good on this show too. I was like, oh, okay. I see you, Brian. Nicolondria, just looking gorgeous. Just looking good. Reginald is styling the hell out of Alandria. She is just giving gorgeous. Gorgeous. I think he styled Nick too for this show. I think he did. Come on, face card. And she said, I really want to model. Mama, you're going to do it. Look at that. And that's a still. That's just a still shot from the show. Oh, and then there's me. But oh my God. Just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. But let's get into Watch What Happens Live. I haven't watched Watch What Happens Live in a very long time, and woo, Lord. We're going to talk about Watch What Happens Live, and then we're going to talk about the Watch What Happens Live after show, which in my opinion was more important and gave more information than Watch What Happens Live. Watch What Happens Live. Oh my God, my skin. The hair on my hair is starting to turn like a red. That means I've been in the sun too much. Yikes. But because I feel like Watch What Happens Live is so gimmicky. Like it's so many of the Shotsky, Mazel of the day, Jackal of the day. Nobody cares. The reads, I'm sorry, Andy, they don't be landing. Listen here. You anti-homo. Wait, no, not anti-homo. What is it? Homophobe. Lord. You homophobe. The reads don't be landing. It's just too gimmicky. It's like so much going on. And I'm like, as an older person, how are you able to like deal with the pace of this show? It's like, it's so much. It's so much going on. It's too gimmicky, but the after show was a lot better. Everybody looked great on Watch What Happens Live. Everybody gave PR answers because at this point, everybody's protecting their image and their brand. And they all feel like speaking about Huda just lowers their brand. And I agree. So I'm glad that the cast does not engage in talking about Huda. They're not afraid of her. They just know that she is not good for business. So they do not mention her. So everybody was giving their best PR answers. And poor Andy, he was just so lost with these kids. Like he don't know what to do with Gen Z. He don't know. It was like very awkward. The energy was just very, very awkward. And I'm like, Andy, at some point you gotta pass the torch. Like, I don't know who he's gonna give it to, but there has to be a protege. There has to be a protege because he just did not know what to do with them kids. He did not. But you know, it gave what it could give. I will say this Watch What Happens Live, this entire interview proved to me. Now, y'all have been saying it, and I'm like, I haven't really seen anything because my timeline is just cookware and comedy. So I don't really see too much of Love Island since the show has ended. So I don't really see a lot of the couples. And everybody was just like, Amaya and Brian are not together. Amaya and Brian are not together. And I was just like, I don't know that I haven't seen anything, so I can't really make any kind of judgment. I will say, watching this show, they are not together. No way. Like Amaya and Brian, when Andy would ask them about their relationship, they would lean into each other. They would hold hands. Brian would put his hands on Amaya's thigh, and Amaya would reach over for Brian and hug his hand. And as soon as they finished answering the question, they stopped holding hands and they moved over to the other side. This is such a PR relationship at this point. I don't care. Get your money. But it's like, it's so obvious that these two are not together. Like all the answers were so PR. Brian was just up there lying. And you could tell that Amaya was lying because she laughed after everything. Oh no, we're so great. Mamacita. Y'all are not together. And I hate that for them. I feel like maybe by Christmas we'll get like a joint statement for the both of them that they tried, but the relationship didn't work. But I don't think these two have been together since the show ended. There was nothing believable about their relationship. They were really struggling to look like something was happening. And I honestly think it's mutual. I think they did what they had to do to win the show. No shade to them, get your coins. But I don't think that, Brian is mistreating her and Amaya is lost. I think that it's mutual, that these two are just in it for the opportunities, and good for them. But I feel like by the Christmas time, because people are going to be asking, like, why ain't Brian in your Christmas pictures? I think by that time, they'll probably release a statement to say that they are done so. I also want to say this: whoever told Amaya to like speak in this work voice, terrible advice. Amaya is fun when she's being her real, authentic New Yorican self. That's what got her the popularity, and of course the win. Well, also the hate for Black women, but that's what got her to that top position, was the fact that she was just so likable. Amaya, I don't have to understand you. The fun is in me trying to figure out what the hell you said. You're thinking about every word that you're saying. If you can't really get the word out, say it in Spanish. We got Google Translate. Like, I just feel like whoever is working with her is telling her to like be this presentable work voice kind of girl. And I'm like, that's not what made her popular. Because she's trying to talk like in this Valley girl voice, but her voice, her accent is so thick, it's fighting. And because she's so focused on how she sounds, she's not her fun, bubbly self, and it seems very fake, a lot of Andy, and it's like, that's not you. We like Amaya for Amaya. You don't now have to give us who you think would be acceptable in these spaces. Although Cardi B is going through a little something right now, poor thing. Here's the thing: she got to stay offline. You got too much to lose now. Get offline. Anyway, take a chapter out of Cardi B's book from the beginning of her career. Cardi B got where she was at because she never switched up. She was her authentic self. Now the authenticity is creating some problems, but in the beginning, it got her a lot of notoriety. So whoever gave Amaya that advice to tone it down and, speak in her work voice, please take that back. You're killing her. She's fun when she can just be herself. I'm like, I see her trying, because I feel like she's trying to appeal to this Bravo audience. You're here because you appeal to everybody already. You don't need to switch it up. You're already in the room. Be yourself. Be yourself. Brian was doing the same thing, but Brian's not the star. No shade. He can be in his own right, but we have to be honest. The star of this season is Nicolondria, CHELLEY, and of course, Amaya. So we find out that Nick actually voted for Austin. He did not vote for Jeremiah, because Andy asked there was a poll saying who left the villa too early. Everybody said Jeremiah, and Nick was like, yeah, Jeremiah left too soon because I didn't vote for him. I voted for Austin to leave. I will say this about Nick. He has been very adamant from day one to constantly and continuously stay on the necks of Huda and Austin. He was very clear that he wanted them off the island immediately. Every time there was a vote, he was voting for them. I will say it was nice to know that he didn't vote for Jeremiah, because we all thought that. We all thought that. When Andy asked who was a problem in Jeremiah and Huda's relationship, no, nobody would say anything. But I get it. I get why they're not saying anything. It's a smart PR move. I would do the same thing. Good for them. I do want to point out how as soon as Huda's name was mentioned, Nick immediately looked at Alandria and put his arm behind her back. And I love that because that was his sign of letting her know that he's here, that he got her. And he literally put his hand behind her back to let her know that he has her back, which confirms for me that Huda and them hoodlums have been tormenting that woman, and it actually affected her. Because as soon as her name was said, he looked right at her and put his arm behind her back, like ready to like protect her or answer her in any way, get on to me, because he is very close to her. And he obviously knew that that fan base and Huda's, whatever Huda has done, has really affected her. And that hurt. It hurt for me to see that is what was needed from him for her, because, you know, she was so affected by that. But I also love that he had her back and he protected her in that instant. And listen, he's doing good. He's knocking it out the park. He's knocking it out the park. There's also a poll that asks who was the best match for Taylor. Elandria got 3%. Clark got 97%. And Nick was like, that should have been higher. He was like, I don't know who that 3% was, but it should have been all Clark and not Elandria. Like, he don't play about his girl. He does not play. We also find out that they're showing an extended version of the Heart Rates Challenge on the show, which is very great. So we can see that Shelley and Nicolondria were right from jump, like we all knew. And we can see the apologies start to roll in, hopefully. I will say this. Nick acting like Sierra never existed is frying me. Like, he just acts like him and that woman never happened. Because there was also a question where Andy asked about, and I also feel like, no shade to Andy, but I also feel like this is why the host needs to be younger, because I just feel like this man in his 60s asking young people in their 20s who was having the most sex. I get that he's the host, but like this older man asking these younger people these sexually charged questions, it's a little weird. It's a little weird, like, especially when he was talking to the Love Island audience and just like, daddy's hungry. And I'm like, it's just, why are you asking? You're asking these freaking 24-year-olds who had the most sex in the house. No pop. No pop. I'll take a millennial. That's the oldest I want talking to them. Above that, it's for me, it gets a little weird. But anyway, everybody looked at Nick and he was like, he act like him and Sierra never happened. Everybody wanted to like say, even Alandria looked at him and he was like, I don't know. I don't know what's happened. Like, he just acted like that relationship never happened. That woman never existed. He is locked in, child. Speaking of him being locked in, he, do I have it here? I thought I loaded it. Hold on. Let me see if I have it on my desktop. If not, I'll share it. Oh, here it is. I do. So, speaking of acting like his past never happened, he also deleted his ex-girlfriend. Y'all were so messy writing under them videos with that girl that he just got rid of it. So if you look through his, like most recently, there are a lot of videos of him and his ex-girlfriend. He removed all them videos. And they had a bunch of little couple videos, but he got rid of that. Child, he preparing for marriage. Alandria, again, take your pills. There's too much work to be done. There's too much. This kid is trying to get married. Take your pills. Take your pills. I will say I was a little disappointed that none of them watched the season. They watched everything on TikTok. And that is the problem. As somebody who has been watching Love Island for a while, I cannot stand this new fan base or this new cast. Like, I like them, but it's just like, they annoy me because it's like, they're so fixated on what happens on social media that they don't realize there's such a greater context. Like, these little clips are not the full story. And it bothers me that they just did not do the proper research, especially before the reunion. I hate when reality TV show members do not watch the season before they get to the reunion, because they end up being friends with people they shouldn't be with and angry at people they shouldn't be mad at. And I was just like, y'all did not watch the season. There's so much context. So we're probably going to get them babying Huda, buttering up to her, because they just did not watch what happened or how she moved. They're probably going to have her back in the Chris situation. Watch. It should be a requirement. I'm sorry. It should be a requirement for them to watch the show back before the reunion. I was so annoyed that none of them watched the season back. And they're like, oh, we're so busy. The reunion is still a part of your contract. Make some time. Nick, you're going out to In-N-Out, them terrible burgers, to get some of them terrible burgers at 2 a.m. You can watch an episode. Oh, that burnt my biscuits. I'm just like, because you can tell when people do not watch the season, because the reunion is always garbage. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, here we go. Here we go. I was having hope for this reunion, but now since nobody watched, I don't even know. Like, are we going to get the questions answered that we want answered? Are we, the only thing that I know for sure that happened is that Ace and Jeremiah buried the hatchet. That's it. If they baby Huda at this reunion and let her play victim, everybody gonna have a problem with me. Oh my God, I'm so annoyed. Let me move on. Let me move on. So Kayla is going to be on the next episode of Watch What Happens Live, tonight's episode. And what I think is happening is because Love Island was such a big show for the last 2 seasons, and the housewives are dropping drastically. I think that Andy is going to try to, or Bravo is going to try to graduate Love Island into Bravo and take it off of Peacock. And I think that that is going to be a huge mistake. But you can tell that they are circling this cast because they definitely see dollar signs with all of them, because the fan base just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. Unfortunately, they're not realizing that the demographic that really was attached to a lot of the virality of this season is preteens. Them preteens are not watching Bravo. They are not watching Peacock. They're watching the show on TikTok. That is going to be your biggest issue. So I feel like if they try to graduate this cast into Bravo, I think it's going to be a really big failure, because I don't think that their fan base is going, the fan base that they want is going to go over there. Now, millennials are absolutely going to be there. But I, for one, am done with this show. I can't, like, I just don't have it in me. You know what I mean? This is my first time living under a dictator. I just do not have it in me to watch Black women be tormented. I'm so happy that Shelley and Nicolondria were able to come out of this and just victorious. I love that for them. But I don't know if the next Black girls can survive that. And I wouldn't want any other Black women to go through that. So I'm done, right? So I don't know. I don't know if them going to Bravo is going to be a smart move, because I think they're probably looking at, you know, how viral this show was, and then they're looking at the Peacock subscriptions and just being like, wait a minute, this ain't adding up. Because I also think that they inflated their views, because they're saying that they got like 10 billion views or something from Love Island. I'm just like, I don't think that's accurate. I think that they are adding in viral videos from TikTok, and they're adding it into their algorithm, and they're puffing up the numbers. They're telling us what it could have been had everybody subscribed to Peacock, because those 12-year-olds can't even get a Peacock account. Like, there's no way. The Hitler Youth does not have Peacock subscriptions. So I think they overinflated the numbers, and just the way they're trying to acclimate this Love Island community into Bravo, I don't know if it's going to be a successful merger. I think that Love Island should stay with Peacock. I don't think you should try to merge them in with the Bravo family, because I think the Bravo family is an older audience. I feel like the youngest watcher for any Bravo show is like a Zennial. These are the people that you're trying to get are freaking children. You're not going to get them on Bravo. So I don't know, but I feel like they're circling this cast and trying to acclimate them into Bravo, because the Housewives aren't doing well. Those shows are not doing well, and they need another version. And I would not be surprised if Andy tries to hire the women of season 6 and season 7 for the, reboots of Housewives shows. I hope they don't do it, especially my girls. I hope that Shelley and Nicolondria leave reality TV alone, unless they're hosting a competition like a Philadelphia Bacon Challenge or something like that. Unless they're a host of a show, then I'll be fine. But representing and showing up as yourself on a reality TV show where you're going to be paid to be in conflict is not a smart move. Don't do it, ladies. Do not do it. Unless it's the Real Housewives of New York. Y'all will eat that up. Don't get into no fights, though. Don't get into no fights, but y'all will eat that up if it ever comes back. Nicolondria, let the audience know that they're the real deal. If you think they're fake, then that is on you, but they are not giving the audience any more PDA. They said they've given us enough. We will just have to use our memories, because they are not going to put their relationship on display to be consumed. We're just going to have to deal with the images from Kalani's Keenies and that racial slur energy drink. I was so uncomfortable. First of all, we went from him twerking to Andy grabbing his hair. Because out of all people, why is Nick twerking? Nick, you're Andy's type. Listen, don't take any meetings alone. Bring your mama to every meeting. Yeah. He was a little fixated on this young man, a little too much for me. Even when Nick was twerking, he was like, oh, you got a tight little butt. Bring your mama to every meeting, Nick. Bring your mama to every meeting, and don't take any meetings in a hotel. Stay woke, young man. Stay woke. But Andy ended up pulling his hair because there was a question asked about his hair, if his hair was real. Because for some reason, I cannot stand the Hitler youth that are watching this show. For some reason, they think that Nick has a toupee on. Get y'all kids. Please. Please. They're ruining the adult fun. Please. The after show. So the staff in the audience gets to ask additional questions. Hey, for everybody who had a question about Amaya's identity, Afro-Latina, because one of the staff members asked, and it was just, that staff member was so extra. He was like, Amaya, my Afro-Latina sister. He was like, how does it feel, being the first Afro-Latina winner? And she was just like, I love it. I'm so happy. And yes, because she's doing like this extra raspiness now. I want old Amaya back. Anyway, she was just saying she was really proud and happy that she could do that for her people. Her and Brian chimed in. And listen, I'm not a hater, right? It's honestly, to be Black American, it's such a weird thing, right? Because everybody wants to be you, but then everybody wants to kill you. There's like no in between. There's no in between. They like want to just wear you as a costume or end your life. So there's like really no in between, but it's so insane to just have to exist with people who do not see you as a fully realized human being, but want everything you do and create and like literally desire to wear your skin. And although you've been through so many atrocities here, you still have so much empathy. Like, I thought it was so cool that Amaya and Brian won, right? But it was not lost on me that Amaya won because there were a lot of non-Black women and young people who were voting to make sure that a Black person didn't win. What? Right? Like, for me as a Black person, a Black American, it's so crazy to even think to do something like that. But this is what we have to deal with. And these are the people that we have to exist with. And it's like, sometimes you feel insane because you're just like, why am I the only one with empathy? So I'm like, I wasn't mad at their win, but I knew why they won. And it just absolutely sucks. But I also can rejoice in the fact that their win meant a lot to their people and not feel like I want to harm them or take anything away from them or be jealous of them. I think it's a great thing. And I really love that they can do that for other people and have such great representation. But we finally got her confirming that she is Afro-Latina. Now, she didn't say no, she said yes. When that staff member said as the first Afro-Latina winner, she said yes. So maybe that's how she identified. I also want to say this. Some people were just like, oh, you see all the stuff that Amaya said about Black people. She was saying that about Black Americans, because you have to realize that community. So we have found out like an alarming amount of Latinos do not like Black Americans. And so I don't think that she was saying Black to remove Blackness from herself. I think that a lot of people have an understanding that Black means Black American. That's like, I think that's the overall consensus. So she was talking about Black American guys. I don't think that she was just talking about Black people as a whole to like break them off and remove them from herself. She was talking about Black Americans, because when you say Black, you think of Black Americans. Like, we're the first people that come to mind with that because we are the first people who identified that way. Alandria was asked about, another staff member, a Black woman, asked her, how does she feel as a Black woman having to represent herself on this show and having to take so many hits? Like, how was she able to overcome all of that? And she spoke on the hate that she received, and she was just like, it's so unfair because as a Black woman, I have to hold myself a certain way. Like, I have to be strong all the time, but in 1 second, when I have one moment of weakness, people go, oh, that's who she is. That's who she's been the whole time. Like, they want to villainize me because I'm a Black woman. But when I'm poised, nobody says that that's me. And then she turns to Nick and she says, I'm just so thankful for him, because with him, I can be soft. I can let my guard down as she's the eldest daughter. So she's just like, I always have to hold myself a certain way. And I can never really just be at peace or be chill, because I always have to be strong. But with him, I don't have to be. He takes the lead. He makes sure that I'm okay. He protects me. She said he kisses the ground that I walk on. And while she's saying all this and, gassing Nick up and talking about how much of an amazing partner he is, he starts to tear up. And Andy's just like, you deserve it. You deserve a guy like him. You're such a queen. And I'm like, back down, Andy. That's Landria's man. Back down. But I thought that was so sweet, how she was just affirming him and just, basically just saying that he's just right for her. And he's been so amazing. And I like that, not only because I feel like she tells him that, but I love the fact that she said it in public, right? And Nick's face is red and his eyes are watering. These two are in love. I mean, I know it's early, but this is like I'm on the train. It's too early for them to get married and have kids, in my opinion. But I'm happy where they're at, because this is the real deal. I love it. I brag on your man, because he always bragging on you. And then Andy closes out and he says, "What's the best date that you got to the men that they have taken their women on?" And Nick says, "Greece, by far. Greece is the best date that I've taken her on so far." Then Brian goes, "Oh, we like truffle pasta, so we've had a lot of truffle pasta dates." Let's move on to the Today Show. So the whole cast was there for the Today Show. Everybody again was giving their PR answers. They all looked very, very cute. Nothing like really interesting was going on. Everybody was acting like the reunion, there was no issues. And I kind of think that Taylor is right, because Taylor was like, there were no arguments, even though Nick looked at him like, "What are you talking about?" But it seems like because these doofuses have not watched the show, they don't really have any issues with anybody. They don't, no, because everybody's showing up uninformed. Uninformed. Alondria, of course, looks great as the Barbie. For some reason, listen up, old people. Stop asking these young people who are the celebrities in their DMs. You have to realize how you look as somebody who is more mature than these people, asking them like these sexually charged questions and who are the celebrities in your DMs. From your standpoint, as somebody who is a little bit more mature and should have wisdom and couth, it will look a little weird to a young person when you're asking them these kind of questions. It's so weird that they all want to know who's in their DMs, especially Alandria. Like, all of these interviewers are fixated on who is in her DMs, like waiting for them to expose the celebrities in their DMs. For what? I hate that like all these news stations have become like gossip channels. I miss when the news was the actual news and newscasters didn't have opinions. They just reported the news. What a time to be alive. I don't know why Ace wasn't there. I feel like, did something happen at the reunion to make him, because he is he no longer in LA? Because the reunion just in New York, because the reunion just happened. So why would he be there? What's going on, Ace? Are you just over it? I could totally understand if you're over it. But I don't know why he wasn't there. Maybe that reunion really got on his nerves. Anyway, let's move on to. So I'm just going to go through everything and then we'll talk about it after. Let's move on to Alandria's interview with Miley Cyrus's mama. She looks amazing. I love this wig. I love this wig, or quick wig, whatever it is. I love it on her. She looks amazing. So in this interview, Alandria speaks about how she has to be on point all the time in LA, and she always has to be glammed up. She likes being back home, but she was like, back home, I can be ugly. I don't have to be glammed up 24/7. And I get what she's saying, but I'm going to need mama to realize the spotlight is on you. And if you're going to be in LA, you're unfortunately, I know it sucks, but you're going to have to be made up all the time, because LA is work. Y'all know I used to be in Atlanta and Philly all the time because LA is work. And I need to get out of work and get back to my people and my sanity. But I'm here now because I'm living under a dictator and I don't want to leave a blue city in an even bluer state using wisdom. So I'm trying to stay put, but there is an urge for me to get back to the East Coast where it's comfortable for me. But I said all that to say I can totally understand where she's coming from, where she's just like, I got to be on it in LA because LA is work. Now, I don't have any critiques of Alandria. I will say this. I don't think she'll make this mistake again. Her comments about, she kept on making like a lot of comments about city people and making a distinction between like city people and Southern people, and just a lot of distinctions, especially about the city women, especially city women in Houston, and about basically how like city people don't have like morals. and the standards that Southern people do. Her team needs to work with her on that, because I think that I get where she's coming from, but she's going to have to learn how to have certain conversations. She can't have certain conversations in mixed company. And I don't think that that city and Southern thing is going to do her any favors in the long run. And the reason why I say that is because she still has a lot of haters who are getting more rabid and more jealous because Alandria is getting opportunities that they think their demonic god should get. So they're going to be looking for moments to fan some flames her way. So I get that she's a down home Southern girl, but now you're in the big city working with these city people. The last thing you should be doing is saying how they don't have the standards and morals of Southerners. Let's stay woke. Let's stay woke. Let's use wisdom. Because I'm just like, and I didn't feel any way because she was talking about, the women in Houston, but I'm just like, Alandria, isn't Houston majority black? You know what I mean? Like it could go there. It could go there and saying that, the city girls, they just about money and I would stay out of those waters if I were you. Because I'm just like, you got a lot of city people who are fans. But she'll be fine. This is a new level for a new adventure for her. And she got it. But yeah, I'm just like, the city and Southern comparison conversation where one is lower than the other. I would not continue to stay there if I were her. I would move on from that and maybe clear up your comments about Houston city girls if I were you, just to be like, oh no, I didn't mean that. I would get ahead of it. I would get ahead of it because there are so many people who do not want you to be in this position. But I think she'll still be fine. I'm just saying, you got such a big platform, you got to be a little careful. Even me, right? Somebody reached out to me for an opportunity, and they said as a micro influencer. Talking about me. I said, excuse me? Because first of all, I don't think I'm an influencer. I'm like, I'm an actor. Thank you. But people gotta try to market people certain ways. And I was like, oh, I guess I could be considered that. You know what I mean? But I see the numbers, especially with Love Island, they start to grow a bit. So I'm like, gotta be a bit more careful. Every time I look at a number, it's a little larger than it was the previous day. I'm like, can't be as reckless as I was when I had just 2,000 subscribers. So that's all I'm saying. When the platform grows, you have to grow. That's all I'm saying. But I'm pretty sure that our girl is fine. She said that she went on Love Island just to have fun and a good time because she was really depressed at her job and she just felt really stuck. And she was just like, I just need to have a good time. I want to do it. They reached out to her before, but she was in Thailand and she said no to it. And then she was just like, you know what? I guess because the job was just getting on her nerves and draining her. And she was like, you know what? If the opportunity comes back around, I am going to take it. So she cleared her schedule for the summer just in case they called back, and she said yes. But she also made sure to check in with her mother because she was like, I'm the eldest. And, me just taking off like that, it has a ripple effect. So I needed to talk to my mom and be like, she's the eldest of 6 kids and her parents are. Her parents had her at 16. And we find out that Alandria's parents are millennials. What you mean? What you mean your parents grew up singing I Want to Be Down? What's going on? What you mean they vividly remember the 90s? What you mean your parents was watching Noggin? Hold on. And that's why I'm glad that this is my last season of Love Island, because I think they millennials. Yeah, Lord. Anyway, but she just was just like, she's the eldest, right? So she's a big chunk of the puzzle, and she just checked with her mom first, and her mom was like, do it. Just go do it. Everything will be fine. Go do it. And she's mentioned that a few times. She's mentioned that, her mom was just like, go after it. And because she's the eldest, she always wants to check and make sure that everybody and everything is okay. And her mom's like, stop, just go after with what's yours. And I love that. Her dad was not too happy about it. He was just like, don't forget who you are. Don't forget your morals and all that stuff. And I'm like, isn't that a gangbang? Yeah, I mind my business, because, if you look at my family tree, you'll see some things too. So it is what it is. Oh, she also let y'all know that she's been a baddie. She said, I've dated in Houston, and I've had a success. I wasn't going on there, just being pressed for Taylor. I'm chosen in the villa and outside of the villa as well. She wanted to make that very clear, because everybody talk about her, she's dumb. She's just like, y'all are seeing stuff that I cannot see. If I knew that man was not into me, I would have never done what I did. But he was doing things to make me believe that he wanted me. She's like, I'm not desperate. I don't chase my man. I don't have to. Let him know, queen. Let him know. And she also said that she was dating a lot in Houston. And she's like, I'm a late bloomer. My last OHLANDRIA, she said, I'm a late bloomer. I had my first boyfriend at 19. I said, oh, that's a late bloomer? Jesus. Gosh. Shout out to the church girls. Anyway, she was just saying that she had been single for 5 years, and she just thought that, Love Island was just like a fun little thing to do. But she did go on the show intentional, because she was dating in Houston, and she was just getting very frustrated because the city guys were just not up to par with what she wanted. She wanted a gentleman. She wanted a Southern gentleman, and she just could not find that in Houston. So she was just like, maybe I can find it on the show. And so she went on Love Island, literally looking for love. She was looking for her partner. She just was looking in the wrong direction. But don't worry. We did our millennial witchcraft and turned her head into the right direction. She also said that she wishes that she was more selfish in the beginning. She was just like, before she was making decisions for everybody else, and she was saying and doing things and making decisions, thinking about how people, her family and friends would, perceive her online, or the fans would perceive her. So she was very cautious of the decisions that she was making, and she didn't go after what she wanted, which was Nick, because she was just really concerned about everybody else. She said she just wished that she was more selfish in the beginning, because she felt like she would have had a better outcome. She also said that she wishes the show would have showed her fun side. She was just like, I'm really funny. They didn't show that. She said they just showed me being strong, or being hurt, or having that one moment that was like not of her character. And then she said that, or they always showed me just being a therapist to somebody. So basically they showed her, she felt like she got the Mammy edit. And she's correct. All the Black girls do. That's why I always say, and I even said that before Love Island started. I said, we got 2 Black girls on the show. I hope to God they do not start mammying people in that villa. And what happened? And the people you mammy, the people you nurse on your bosom, got well fed and turned to you and spit in your face. Stop helping them people. Stop helping them people. You will never get it back. You will never get the same care or humanity in return. Stop helping. You are not a mule. Anyway, she also says that her life changed drastically, and she didn't know that she had social anxiety until they went to Disney. And she was just like really, just taking aback buy everything, but she had to realize that this is her new life now. This is her new normal. So she had to get used to it. So she said, it's taking me a minute because, you know, I went from having 13,000 followers to coming out, and now like 1 million people are watching everything that I do. And she was like, that's a big leap. And just like everywhere we go, there are like people. Speaking of that, child, where is that video? She said everywhere they go that there are like people asking her, you know, just like fans, or like chasing them or whatever. So it's just a lot. And she was just like, she didn't realize she had social anxiety until they all went out to Disney and could like barely walk. I have some videos that I want to show you guys, but we'll do that after this. She knew when she was selling elevators that this was not where she was supposed to be. She said she always said that she, you know, was destined to be famous. She was just like, I was saying that. I didn't know that that was actually my life, but that's how I felt. She manifested that. She was just like, people were, when she got out of the village, she said people started sharing her old tweets. And she was just like, I really manifested the life that I have now. And she was like, she was just so shocked by that. And she mentioned one time, because she said that she really wants to model. Like, that's her thing. She was like, because Miley Cyrus's mama asked her, like, what are your goals? Like acting or whatever. She's like, I'm not a good actor, but modeling is what I've always wanted to do. And that is like the main goal. I really want to like go after that. And she said that she was in a meeting for the elevators, and knowing that that's not where she was supposed to be. She said she was looking at her profile image, her team's profile image. And she looked at herself and she was just like, I'm not supposed to be here. She looked at that mug and said, this mug is not supposed to be selling elevators. Yes. Know who you are, sis. Know who you are. Her mother loves Nick. She calls him her son-in-law, and she tells her mom, chillax, where this is still very new, but the mom is locked in. And I'm telling you, I feel like, and that's another thing that happened on Watch What Happens Live. Andy asked, the poll was, who was going to have the long-lasting relationship, Amaya and Brian or Nicolondria? And Nicolondria won. And Andy was just like, well, they won the show and you won the polls. And I laughed at that because it's true. But it was also, you know how Andy is slick with that tongue. But remember, guys, we talked about this, and I said these two are going to last because the mothers are locked in and working together. Olandria's mom, Nick's mom, no, a lot of people do not remember this, but Olandria's mom was the first member of the Nicolandria Hive. She said Olandria is who she wanted for her son. And Olandria's mom came to Love Island and told her, that boy is for you. And when the matriarchs of the families come together and say, this is what we want to do, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to last. And ain't going to be no issues, because the matriarchs said, this is what we want. And they got it. They got it. But she calls him her son-in-law. She said that her mom and Nick have a really great relationship. She also said that her mom didn't want to come on the show because she didn't think that she was photogenic. That broke my heart. I'm like, her mom is stunning. Her mom is millennial Olandria. Oh God, what the hell do I look like? Everybody's a millennial. A millennial Olandria. But that broke me, where her mom was just like, I'm not photogenic, so she didn't want to come on the show. And then she come on with all that body. Girl, you broke the internet. She said that she was, this is the thing. I couldn't believe that she had this conversation with a white woman from Kentucky. She said that she initially, first day out, she liked Nick. But she said, I'm from Alabama. And she was very concerned that Nick would not be, not that he would not be attracted to her, but she said she wasn't sure if he wanted more from her than just physical stuff. Because when she said when they kissed, it was a lot. You know, it was nice, but she was just like, is he just doing that because he fetishes me, or that he really likes me? And she said the white men back home like to sleep with and fetish Black women. And I felt uncomfortable with pursuing something with him because I was not sure of his true intentions. And now she said, now that I know who it is, I'm very happy about the relationship. But before, I was very apprehensive. And we talked about that. I said, she don't date white men. She's scared. That's where every Black woman should be. You should be scared about getting in a relationship with these white boys. Pasta and lobster, hard wig and soft life. What the hell are you talking? Harry told me to smack you. You need to be cautious about every man, child. Especially them colonizers. But that's what it is. That's what it's always been. She said she was attracted to him, but she was scared because she didn't know if she was getting a Caucasian Kenny. You don't know. You don't know. So she was scared. And she was like, it wasn't until everybody was just like, go after it. She was like, everybody was forcing this to happen, so I just did it. And she's happy that she did. But I told you guys, when the parents came and they got their stamp of approval, it was Nick's dad for him. Because his mom, she was all into OHLANDRIA. But when his dad gave his stamp of approval for OHLANDRIA, that was it. He got both parents. And OHLANDRIA, it was her mom. When her mom said, go after it. Go after him. He is the one. That's when she felt more comfortable pursuing him or, you know, just being in a relationship with him. But initially she was scared because she is a dark-skinned Black woman from Alabama. Black woman from Alabama. And she's like, the white boys down there, scary. Scary. So you got to proceed with caution. And I absolutely understand where she's coming from. She said the guys were intimidated by her because she was stern and direct on what she wanted. And then Miley Cyrus's mama said, well, it's because you were looking for a man. And let's be clear here. Nick was not the man that she needed until he locked in on her. And he became everything that she not only desired, but spoke into existence. And that's why his mom said that he likes OHLANDRIA, because she brings the man out of every boy that she is in front of. Ah! Hallelujah. I can't believe nobody has preached this message. I can't believe nobody has preached Nicolondria. I am very, very, very shocked. She's moving to LA next month. I think her and Nick are moving in together, and that's going to be the test. That's going to be the test, because she said Miley Cyrus's mama asked who was the dirtiest in the village. She said Nick, but he needs to work on that. And that might be a problem. That's why I told y'all. I said, if Nick starts grooming like a Black man, they will be okay. He got to stop going to bed with that hair wet. There's a scent that comes from that wet hair. Dry that hair before you get in that bed, because the wet hair leaks into the pillow and then the mold and stuff. And that's where the pennies smell comes from. He got to start grooming like a brother. Talk to Ace. If he can groom like a brother and clean up after himself, I think them moving in together would be very successful. Because OHLANDRIA, oh God, take your pills, girl. OHLANDRIA is ready. You know, she was talking about how she's ready to submit to a man. That scared me a bit when she said that. I was like, oh, well, she's from the South. So, but she said that she's ready. But the men that was approaching her, they were not worthy of her submission. So she's ready to do all of that. And I think she would not have a problem like being the home caretaker, the caretaker of the home. But he has to be a viable partner to live with. And she has grown up within a certain Black American cleanliness. And he got to match that in order for her to be able to live with him. I think it can happen. I think it can, you know. He got to talk to Ace, though. He got to talk to Ace. No, you got to bathe every day. And, you know, got to talk to Ace. She said that Miley Cyrus's mama asked her about celebs in her DMs. She said there's a lot. She won't say. She hated the milk challenge. That was the worst challenge that they ever did. She hated it. She thought that it was so gross like everybody else. She said that she loves that Nick is intentional. He just acts. She doesn't have to ask him to do anything. He just does it. She was just like, I said I wanted to model. He has me modeling everywhere. I said I wanted to go to Europe. He took me to Greece. She was just like, everything that I want to do, he makes happen. He's basically Mr. Make It Happen. She said, I wanted to go to Disney. He made it happen. He is just very intentional about her and just make sure whatever she desires or needs that she gets. I thought this was a cute podcast. I thought it was a cute podcast. I want her to sit down and do more interviews. I would love to see her do an intimate interview like this with Nick. But it was sweet. It was a really sweet interview. And before we close out with Shelley, I just wanted to show you guys a few videos of what's going on within the Love Island family. This one is from Cordell, which I thought was so sweet. So Cordell recently got some grills, and he got a grill in the shape of an S for Serena. So let's watch that video together.
Capital S. Ooh. Hello. That's it right there.
For the wifey.
For the wifey. That's it.
Oh, so cute. I love them. One more time. One more time.
We got the single right there. We're going to zoom in so you can see the capital S.
Ooh.
Hello. That's it right there.
For the wifey.
For the wifey. That's it.
I love them. I love them. So cute. Speaking about since we're on the topic of lover boys, let's talk about this one.
Wow. Stunning. Yes.
Gorgeous. Thank you.
Alandria, have your lip comp on.
Thank you.
The reason why I wanted to show that video, because again, he's so intentional. So they're walking up to their hotel. I think it's Watch What Happens Live, where the NBC studios where Watch What Happens Live is being filmed, and they're walking up and they want to take pictures of him, of Nick, and Nick looks at them and says, "No, take pictures of Alandria." He's in his Prince Harry phase. He's in his Prince Harry phase, and I love it. He's also making sure that if he eats, Alandria is going to eat as well. He recently did a commercial for Abercrombie and Fitch, and the commercial was all about Alandria. Here we go.
For tonight, but I'm rushing home to figure out what to wear. Abercrombie has a bunch of...
Hold on, let me run it back.
Okay, I'm planning a last minute day for tonight, but I'm rushing home to figure out what to wear. Abercrombie has a bunch of new denim. Check these out. Thank you, Abercrombie, for sponsoring this video. Okay, Alandria gets home in 30 minutes. I need your help before then. First, we have a blue-white striped shirt. Might have to take her back to Greece with this outfit. Shades, the full look. This outfit, more casual. Baggy pants, my favorite football team. Shout out Baltimore Baddie, AKA my mom. I think I might have to take her to an NFL game in this one. What do y'all think? And the last look with the baggy blue jeans, white tank. Then we have the cowboy over shirt. Okay. Probably would take her to a rodeo, horseback riding maybe. She asked for a countryman, she's gonna get a countryman.
He gonna make sure that everything he do is about his boo. And I love it. And here is the recent video from their time at The Tonight Show.
Jimmy Fallon, sweet cards. Let's see what's in the goodie bag. Stay hydrated.
Nice shirt. Yep, stay hydrated. And a cute sweatshirt.
Wow.
Wait, let me see.
Unboxing.
Look, you gotta put your hand behind it.
Tonight Show gear. I'll be wearing this to bed tonight. Thank you.
Looks like a sweater.
Thank you, Jimmy. He's
Like
right
this?
there. Thanks, Jimmy.
No, I'm gonna wear this in the airport.
Yes.
A good airport sweater.
Thank you for coming with us on this unboxing. Bye.
They're so adorable. I'm going to end with this one clip from her podcast interview with Miley Cyrus's mama.
few years and how everything is coming into fruition now. Wow. So like I always said, like, oh, I wanted to go to Disneyland and all these things. Like, made that happen immediately. Never been to Europe. He made sure I was a part of his campaign trip to where it was paid for, and I was able to go to Europe for the first time and went to Greece. Like, he's so intentional. It is insane.
That's amazing.
He listens and he acts immediately. Mind you, we've only been coupled up for like 2 or 3 weeks. And he's marked off so many things on my list already.
Oh my God.
Their first few weeks of dating each other. So I'm like, oh my goodness, no man has ever in my 27 years has shown me this much like consistency and, you know, just seeing that I just feel so seen with him, you know?
It's amazing.
Yeah. So
I feel like that's rare these days.
Yep.
Seriously. Like,
and he's only 24. So I'm like, oh my gosh.
wow.
24 years old.
That's crazy.
He knew I wanted to be a model. So the first 2 campaigns we shot was people that he's worked with in the past. He made sure I was part of those campaigns to start to get my foot in the door as far as modeling.
Okay,
and
this
those
guy's a
pictures
keeper.
blew up so much to where like so many people was reaching out to me and like noticing me. We got like 2 Vogue shout outs and like teen Vogue.
Oh my gosh.
It's become so big. And it's like I wouldn't have been in this position if it wasn't for this guy that was able to like put me in this position. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I love it.
That's amazing. And
truly
honestly, I love a man who like wants his woman to fly and be, you know,
Yeah.
like some men are so intimidated by strong
intrigued
women.
by it.
Totally.
Intrigued. Instead of being intimidated, he's like intrigued. I wanna know who you
amazing.
are. Like, you're such a mystery to me. I want to find out, like, figure out who you are, you know?
Totally. My husband's the same way. He literally.
So insane how much I just.
I'm so happy for her. And I'm also happy for my girl Shelley because she finally got an apology from BuzzFeed. Now, I'm not happy that she got this apology from BuzzFeed because BuzzFeed should not be apologizing because they should have never did anything like that in the first place, right? But I'm happy because this apology shows that the tides are turning. So what happened was these media companies saw the hate that Shelley and Alandria were getting and jumped in on the hate train because they had no intention of these 2 women bouncing back and being such huge powerhouses that they need access to. And now that they don't have access to these women, especially Shelley, they are now coming back and apologizing and trying to smooth things over so that they can have access to the core 4. I believe that the core 4 is moving together. And I believe that BuzzFeed has probably reached out to all of them and have not been able to sit down with any of them because of how they treated Shelley. They've soiled themselves so much that nobody wants to touch them. And BuzzFeed is a pop culture media company, so they have to talk about what's popular. What's popular right now, especially with their demographic, is Love Island. And they can't talk about Love Island or have any access to the cast because of that post that was put up by their tasty editor who said that he wanted to punch Shelley in the face, wanted to give her a knuckle sandwich, wanted to harm her, physically assault her, right? So because the tides are turning and now these women are becoming legitimate celebrities that they cannot have access to, now they're putting out this apology because now they're doing damage control. I think it's a little too late. It should have never happened. That post should have never been cleared. And now it's just too late for them. Because now they're seeing that the core 4 are bigger than the program, bigger than the show. And as a media company, they need to have access to this media, but they can't access this media because of their tasty editor. And they can't write about them or put anything up about them without the audience saying, how dare you even speak on them when you said you wanted to assault Shelley? So now they're doing this whole big speech and this ridiculous mess about how they screwed up. So they put up this post today and it says, what it means to protect Black communities at work, even when your own company messes up like we did. Child ain't groveling. So let's read the article. It says this was written by Cult. Oh, I hate the fact that they have two Black men who wrote this article. I hate that. Anyway, it says with great power in any workplace, institution, or community comes great responsibility. Many of us think of our professional responsibilities in concrete and easy to track terms such as goals and outcomes. But just as important and frequently overlooked is the responsibility to protect and defend people, especially those who have been historically marginalized and are still fighting against existential discrimination when our institution causes harm. Being a minority in a large company sometimes feels like being on an island. No matter the workplace, you'll find that challenges are often similar. Oh, child, I just got an advertisement for an item that I was looking at a Sur La table. Child is on sale for $10. Forgive me, I just got distracted. Navigating predominantly white or privileged surroundings, seeing your own identity misrepresented or neglected, and being expected to be well-versed in white culture while others aren't always expected to know anything about your culture. Media and tech companies like BuzzFeed carry an especially hefty burden. They influence culture, amplify voices, and help shape trends. When that influence is misused, the harm can reverberate loudly, which is why when a mistake happens, especially one that affects a historically disenfranchised community, the onus is on the media to correct that misstep. How does a mass media company do that, though? What about the employees who are affected? How do you stay true to your personal values at a much larger corporation? And how do you broach the topic of the mistake with the people you believe can help right the wrong at the workplace? Recently, in a lapse of judgment, BuzzFeed published an Instagram carousel where a knuckle sandwich was served to Love Island contestant Shelley the Saint. The post went viral, and although it was promptly taken down, the damage was done. This mistake deeply hurt members of the Black community, both internally and in our audience. But instead of ignoring the issue or sweeping it under the rug, we want to use it as a case study of what any workplace or community must face when it falls short and show what it looks like to try to sincerely do better. We hope this post will serve as a guiding force for other corporations and their employees when they find themselves reeling from a mistake that affects communities that are often marginalized. When something happens like this happens, take time to listen. Number one, when something like this happens, take time to listen to your audience and employees about how it impacted them. At BuzzFeed, we have employee resource groups and ERGs, or for short. They're groups made of a safe space that anyone can join. And the main purpose is to uplift and create community with the workplace for different underrepresented groups. We, the authors of this article, Carlton and Mike, are the leads of BIO, Black Identities and Opportunities. As leads, we have several different responsibilities, such as putting together events, fostering community, and addressing the small and large issue we feel impact our community. In this leadership role, we spoke privately, publicly, and candidly with Black employees at BuzzFeed after the Love Island post went viral. Here are some of their words. As a Black woman at the company, I was mostly disappointed and confused. It made me think about all the experiences that I have to go through on a daily basis. Darker skin is automatically seen as aggressive no matter what you do, what you say, or how you say it. I wanted to make sure I spoke out because we don't play about Black women. We don't play about Shelley. Another employee said, unfortunately, I was made aware of the situation when a few of my friends DM'd the post to me. They voiced their discomfort and asked if I knew anything about it. I felt both shock and embarrassment because this situation was 100% avoidable. Another employee said, I wasn't offended because I no longer allow institutions to offend me. Oh, y'all could have kept this. But that doesn't mean I don't read ignorance for what it is. This error was so ridiculous, I thought it must be one of our AI-powered posts. Oh, they're not helping. But as usual, we can't blame everything on robots. The fact that this slipped by simply indicates that folks are still privileged enough to maybe not have a clue. Also, if no one else will say it, I don't believe this was an accident. I believe it was intended to be funny. It's corny, to say the least. Another employee said, when I joined the BuzzFeed team, I felt relief. Here was a culture that gave me space to just be. I finally felt safe at work, and I relaxed. Ugh. Imagine my surprise when BuzzFeed, my safe haven. Who the hell is this? What? Ain't no job ever your safe haven. Published a joke about punching a black woman. I understand there's a knuckle sandwich trend on TikTok, but like that isn't even how we utilize the joke, and it wasn't even a joke as a sandwich joke. But there is a history of being threatened by violence. All women know violence. The joke is bigger than just the joke. It plays into a culture that we have actively fought against. My trust in my company has faltered. Oh, you must be young. And my safe haven now has a crack. I don't want us to forget this happened. I don't want it to be swept under the rug. That's not who we are at BuzzFeed. Oh, you're young. I want more apologies. I want groveling. If this is truly a mistake and we are truly sorry, then we need to do more as a company to convey that our fans and everyone who trusted and looked up to us as a source of truth and joy. This is a meme page. What are you talking about? It's not enough to try to do better in the future. We need to be better right now. Another employee said, I've always thought of BuzzFeed as a safe place that vocally promotes diversity and equity. To see the exact opposite happen is disheartening and disappointing. We need to take accountability as our company for mistakes and use our media platform to protect and support Black women in and outside the media, the workplace included. And they have a few more comments, and then they talk about internal checks and balances. They say at BuzzFeed, we already have several checks and balances in place. For example, we have culture lead editors who work as a guiding light for the community they represent. They encourage, write, and edit a wide range of culturally diverse posts. We have customized tools built into our content management system that flag questionable, insensitive, or confusing language. We have both copy and package editors, teams who work to make sure titles, pictures, and text within posts fit our standards. These are teams that will be helpful and, in our opinion, necessary at all mass media companies. It is important for us to double down on these checks and balances through our entire corporation. For those who work outside of media, it is important to strengthen or create checks and balances to work and protect historically marginalized communities. Pause. If I were them, I wouldn't have put this in the article, because what you are saying is that this was passed through this checks and balances team and they approved of the knuckle sandwich post. I would have left that out. Number 4, they said, let's call out microaggression and racism as they happen. This is a hard one. When you feel like your job may be on the line or you may face some type of repercussion for speaking up, the stakes are infinitely higher. So proceed with caution, but do your best to call out microaggressions and racism in real time. When you see something, say something. In many cases, the person who committed the act may not even know what they did, which is why staying silent is even scarier, because it creates an environment for mistakes to happen. You're moving a goalpost. Then they say, never back down. Malcolm X. Oh, God. Malcolm X said it best. Not Malcolm X. We want freedom by any means necessary. We want justice by any means necessary. We want equality by any means necessary. And if they don't exist yet, I say, create them. You might feel compelled to throw in the towel, whether it's the government policies, company fear, retaliation, or lack of resources. Don't. Keep it moving. Our persistence when it came to Love Island Post led to conversations with more Black employees, eventually the company at large, and ultimately our top execs, which led towards seeking solution. Work on covering Black people in a positive light. This is the last one because they have a few more posts, but I don't think they're saying much of anything. It's not solely the job of Black employees to be the voice of Black people. We're not monolithic. No identity is truly monolithic. In our situation, it could be possible that a lack of representation and education led to this mistake and misstep that followed. This is why it's crucial to ensure you're mindful of the attention you give. And it's a poor excuse to blame it on your audience interest in pop culture trends. If you're a media company, you lead the conversation in most instances. So take the reins and set a tone. Let me scroll down to the bottom because it's a bit more. But I want to go to the end. They said, our responsibility is to protect people, especially those who have been historically marginalized. The fight against existential discrimination is going to take more than 11 points on a BuzzFeed listicle. Calling out the issue and taking accountability is a move in the right direction. And hopefully this can be something we can call back to when we need to correct the next mistake, address the new employee's concern, and ultimately stay true to our values in the workplace. Through these steps and our work, we are aiming every day to promote Black joy, to protect Black women, and to help steer a much larger and wider organization in a direction that is inclusive for us and all others. My God, today, a whole lot of nothing was said. Here's the thing. I hate the fact that Black men had to write that post. It should have been written by the knuckle sandwich person. The knuckle sandwich person should have wrote that article. And then to give these talking points to make this a teaching lesson, we don't want no teaching lesson. We knew, everybody with a brain knew that what you did was wrong. You got the lesson. So you, as the offender, should not, before an apology, be teaching on how to be better. Which is why this message should not have come from some random Blacks that they found at BuzzFeed. It should have came from the knuckle sandwich person. And we should have heard from them. They should have apologized. And BuzzFeed should have been like, they are no longer with the company. That's what should have happened. But instead, that person is probably still there. That person is probably still going to be over the Black staff. And nothing will change. But they make sure to put the Blacks in front, have them take the heat, have them write the article, have them say that BuzzFeed is not a bad place. They're learning and growing. Have that one Black girl talk about how BuzzFeed is her safe space. But not talk about how you hired somebody, put them in a very high position, and this person in this high position thought so little of Black women that they felt comfortable enough writing about assaulting a Black woman. That should have been the conversation, not this mess. It's a lesson for companies who may have racist employees. What? Missed the mark, in my opinion. Missed the mark, in my opinion. But I love that they are doing this, and I love that they are scrambling, because BuzzFeed is finding out what Target now knows. Don't play with my community, because we don't play about each other. We might be telling people our business too damn much on this social media, and we might got a problem with inviting everybody to the damn cookout. But when it's time to lock in, we lock in, because we are what? One band, one sound. So they got the message loud and clear, and they know to leave this community and its women alone. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. Those are all my thoughts. We got a lot of comments in here, y'all. I'm going to do my best. I want the likes to match up to the views. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, look, do I got super chats? I got 8. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let me get into my super chats. Hey, Kimberly. Thank you for the super sticker. Hey, Mel. Thank you for the love. Hey, obviously me. Obviously me said Nick was getting ate up for allegedly voting for Jeremiah to leave, but turned out he voted for Austin. Nick doesn't miss with his votes unless it's Tay. Yeah. But he said that's his boy. And me, thank you for the super chat. And me said this will definitely be a big reveal with the collab, because if you notice, Alandria, Nick, or Shelley have not posted any of their looks for this week at all. At all. It's going to be huge. Obviously me, thank you for the super chat. Obviously me said Nick using that white privilege to get Ola notice. Prince Harry. He's on his Prince Harry, and I love it. And remember, I always say, I'm not a swirler. It ain't my cup of tea. But if you gonna do it, sisters, make sure he is on the level of he's doing the Prince Harry. If he's not loving you like Prince Harry, Get away from him. Now Nick has set another standard. If that white boy ain't on his Prince Harry or his Nick, I can't pronounce his last name, but Big Belgian, if he ain't on that, get away from him. He's a Klan member. Obviously me. Thank you for another super chat. Obviously me said, mind y'all, this the same Amaya that popped off on Shelley regarding the whole Ace boundaries debacle. She ain't too hard from hood of herself sometimes. Well, she said on Watch What Happens Live that the people that are her friends from the show are all the girls except for Shelley. Basically, she mentioned every girl but Shelley. I'm like, why the hell you beefing with Shelley? She the reason why you on the damn show. She the reason why you got, what, 25K? And I can't believe that Brian bought a Rolex with that little bit of money. It's not a husband. It's not a husband. Obviously me, thank you for the super chat. Obviously me said Pepe X was revealed to be a whole black woman. I need Pepe to confirm that. Because the way people lie on TikTok, I don't trust nothing on TikTok. I don't trust nothing on TikTok or the Twitter. I wait for YouTube. Because YouTube, you try to lie on YouTube, they take your whole channel. They don't play over here. T13, ST13, thank you for the super chat. ST13 said, to be fair to Nick, I also pretend my 3-week situationship didn't exist. Oh, y'all know me. I always say, if it wasn't successful, it never happened. If it wasn't successful, it never happened. Out of sight, out of mind. Because according to my life, I've never had a boyfriend and I've never dated anyone. Yeah, I've never been on a date. Never had a boyfriend. And there may be some men who come out and say, oh my God, Nikki, we dated. He's a liar. I don't know who that man is. He's a stranger. That's me macing him. I don't know who that man is. I don't care if you know my mama. I don't know who that man is. If it wasn't successful, it never happened. It never happened. I'm going to get some older comments, and then we're going to get some more current ones. And then I'm going, that's just my light just go out. Ciao. And then I'm going to let you guys go because I know it's Thursday, and I know, the kids is going back to school. I know y'all on a schedule now, child. So I can't be doing these late night lives anymore. Because your kids got to go to bed. And I know. That's what I'm saying, Denise. If it ain't about no money. Poliva girl, what's up? How are you? Always Priceless says, yes, they are bigger than Love Island. Serena and Cordell didn't even hit this hard. I will say right out the gate, the core four doing the damn thing. Hannah said, I need Shellandria on any haute couture magazine. Absolutely. Absolutely. Norris Note said, Ace and Shelley did a very short interview this week. They are in and out. They are in and out. Alexa said, Ola mentioned she will be back. Yep. For New York Fashion Week in that Popo promo video. She sure did. She sure did. Alexis said, curious with Ola not having an agent yet. She has management. I think she signed with UTA. Who is funding this press run extras that's not a part of NBC? It could be Matthew Reisman. That's what I'm like, because this press run is mad expensive. And I know the fashions is not coming from NBC. This has to be agents, management. It has to be something. Now, a lot of times that does happen. Sometimes if your manager or agent believes in you, they will foot the bill because they know they're going to get it back. They know they're going to get it back. So that could be it. Always Prices said, no shade, no tea. I also want Taylor and Clark at Fashion Week because we know Taylor has already done it for LV. You know what? Taylor may surprise me, but guys, he gives Philly stud. He gives Philly stud. Like the fashions. It's definitely North Philly stud to be very specific. Yes. A North Philly stud to carry a mean backpack. That's what it gives. So I'm not impressed by the fashions yet, but his modeling pics are fire. And I know Clark is going to eat anything she wears. I'd much rather would see her. Clark, Alandria, and Shelley. We could throw in Iris too. I would much rather see them at Fashion Week than the guys. I mean, Nick would be cute, but I don't think I want to see anybody else. Hey, AI. AI says Alandria will learn with time, but if she wants to runway walk, she needs to. Listen, my good sis, she used to them Fashion Nova heels, them high fashion shoes, them Louboutins. Ugh. Terrible shoes. I love him. But I'm like, I have tried for years. I've saved money. And I go to the store, the one in Atlanta, every year. And I tried on as many shoes as I could, but I could not justify the price for a shoe that I couldn't walk in. Now, I'm letting y'all know this right now. If I ever end up working with that man, everything that I said here is a lie. Stay woke. Stay woke. Hannah said 3 locks left. Doesn't need to shine at Fashion Week. Y'all are so messy. Is it locks or is it twist? Lily said whoever styled Cordell on the show, chef's kiss. Cordell looks great. What's his purpose said, I'm overwhelmed in a good way with all the content. Me too. I'm so happy for them. Lavender Girl said Alandria is giving Victoria's Secret model from 1999 and she gets her wing. If they give her wings, she would eat. Oh my gosh, she would eat that show up. They're coming. They're taking over, ladies. They're taking over. Thank you, TIK-Star, for being here. Alexis said that Watch What Happens live poll of who will last was embarrassing for Amaya and Brian. Andy should have rigged it to be somewhere near 50-50. Why would he? He's messy. Arcada said they're both always cheesing. I can't tell what's real or not. Cameron said, I'm so happy that Nicolondria and Amaya and Maui. Who was Maui? Never said that demonic single mother's name the whole entire time. Speak no evil. Absolutely. Absolutely. She's a very miserable person. My little sister showed me the message, and I'm just like, I want her to get some peace and joy in her life. It's just like she gets so many great opportunities, but just ruins it by being so nasty and angry. It's like, girl. And she just has this thing with trans women. And I'm like, I don't want to say it, but I feel like she lost the love of her life to a trans woman. It's just insane. It doesn't make any sense for her to be this angry at trans women. It doesn't make it. She's not mad at trans men. She eyes trans women. It's so weird and scary. And I'm so shocked that she still has a platform because she still holds deeply homophobic and transphobic views. And she spews those views loudly. And she still has a job. That contract must be ironclad, child. But it's just, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that she's hating on anybody happy. That lady is miserable. I want her to find some peace and joy. She desperately needs it. Hey, name twin. Nicole said they seem like friends, but I don't know if Amaya knows. I think it's mutual. Busola said they'll have to pride watch. They will. He not letting that go. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. I love them kids. I love them. Give Me Shelter said Andy is just as out of touch as Ryan Murphy and the writers of Just Like That. Older men never want to sit down and pass the baton. Yeah. Unfortunately. Hannah said, I was so tired that Amaya kept caping for Huda. She showed how much alike she is with her. But also, Huda played mind games with her like she did with Shelley and Nicolondria. Nicolondria just found out how messy Huda is. Remember, Huda was Hilton for a long time. Naya said the way Nick teared up when Nicolondria talked about how much she appreciates him. I love them. It was a very stressful show. It's definitely campy, but it's like campy with a touch of crack. and black tar heroin. It's too much. It's too much. I really did love it. I thought it was a sweet, very intimate interview. I like that for her. I really, really do. Give Me Shelter said Amaya's real self is her hatred for Black women. I hope she is no longer allowed to practice. Oh gosh. Oh, Lord. I wouldn't be surprised, but I didn't see it. I'm telling you, there's none of her on any of my timelines. I don't see anything of that woman. I barely get Love Island. Now I get Nicolondria stuff, but that's it. I don't see anybody else from the show. Nicolondria and Ace and Shelley come up in my timeline. That's it. I get the core four. My timeline is sane. My timeline is sane. Hannah said Nick couldn't stand Hilda not one bit. He only tolerated 3D because Alondria is cool with it. Yeah. XRS said Amaya's favorite place to go is Trump Tower. That told me all. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm glad she has that nursing degree because she's going to be using it soon again. Sophie says, so Nick wanted Huda and Austin out. I'm glad to hear he didn't vote for Jeremiah. Nope, he said it. He said it. He really does. I thought it was 25. He really does. He really does. Oh, he don't play about them. He knows the privilege he has and he uses it. I love that. Unique said, like my girl Liv, there's two like my girl's live. There's 200, it's more than that, almost 400 of us in this live and only 65 likes. Let's go, Star Fam. Let's do better. Let's get the likes up. Emmy said these interviews pre-reunion are always tricky because they can't reveal too much to keep excitement for the reunions. You're right. I agree. Naya said everybody's trying to outcool each other by seeming unbothered and not watching their season. Watch it so you can clock these people appropriately. Thank you. Everyone should have notes like Janae did. Absolutely. Because I'm not shocked that they didn't watch the show because they are still friends with people they should not be friends with. I'm not shocked. I am not shocked. I think so too. I think Ace was the only one who watched everything back and came back prepared. That's why he's not moving with these people. Like, that's why you can't see him with them. He's not acting funny, but he knows who people are and he's moving accordingly. Khalil said there is nothing to relate to now. They're unreliable because I spent my time life watching you, but you can't be bothered to watch your show yourself. So we are on the same page. No accountability. Yeah, that was bothersome. I feel like it should be in their contract that they need to watch the season. Emmy said if they watch the episodes, they would have a better understanding regarding the social media commentary. Yep. Yasmin said, I'm watching the full episodes. If I ever end up on TV, I need to see how I was portrayed and if anyone stabbed me in the back. Yep. And they don't know. They have no idea. Had Huda not went on Call Her Daddy, she'd still be up under Olandria. Alexis Windsor said, I think Pepe and Iris were watching the season a few weeks ago. The rest, I doubt at all. A mess. Nicole said, I don't blame them for not watching the show. This season was full of anxiety, racism, and backstabbing in the villa and online. I think they just want to focus on a positive. And I understand that. Alandria said, Alandria said she didn't want to watch the show because she was there and she wants to live with the reality that she has of what she experienced. And I think that's great. I'm saying she needs to watch the show so that she can know who is friend and who is foe. Because the core four are about to get a lot of great opportunities, even bigger than what they have now. And there are people who I feel are latching to them because of those things. You got to be careful. Yeah, we're going to see the heart rate challenge in full, child. But they haven't watched the show. I'm telling you that we might leave this reunion with them babying the. It won't. It won't. It will not at all. Jasmine said, I think putting Love Island spinoffs like After the Villa would be okay on Bravo. We'll see. I just don't think that Bravo has that young of a fan base yet. Now, if Bravo wants that fan base, they better be prepared. Hannah said, Bravo wants them to have a show with them, but I don't think the core four wants that to happen. I think if they do have a show, Ace would not be a part. Yeah, this show was not a show for kids. With all this sexual stuff, children should not be watching it. Emmy said if the cast watched the episodes, they would have a better understanding of the social media commentary. Yep. Hannah said, same. I can watch another season. I can't watch another season. They won't play with our emotions again. Nope. I can't, guys. I can't. I was on here and I was having a really good time with you guys. I hated how Shelley and Nicolondria were treated. That all but broke me. I didn't like it. It was very, and like what made me okay was the fact that they were okay. I was so scared for them when they came out of that villa. Why should I feel like that watching a damn reality TV show? Nope. They can have it. Let the Hitler Youth destroy it. I will not be watching. Misfit said, LA scene is so disingenuous. Ola and Nick seemed on the same page, though, and winning together. People have to see past all the marketing, though. The Kulani's leaked behind the scenes are Nick eating alone at Sweet Greens. I was glad that he had some time for himself. Naya said exactly LOL. I'm a Zillennial, 97. Whoop, whoop. And the only person I know younger than me that watches Bravo is my 25-year-old coworker who grew up watching the Golden Girls. See, it's the Nick and Night generation. If you didn't watch Nick and Night, you're not gonna be watching Bravo. Yeah, they're paid to be in conflicts. They are paid to fight with people. I don't want that for them. Hannah said Andy might add some of the season 6 and season 7 women on his next gen show. Now, I will watch that. But again, those shows, they are paid to be in conflict, and I don't want to see them fighting. I just want to see them winning. I don't want to see them fighting. He does. He really, really does. But he's so green. He's so green. I get worried about him. That's why I'm like, take your mom to everything. Misfit said, Nick knows what it is, though. He's been in the modeling world. I peeped Ola trying to check him when Andy kept picking on him. Yeah, they look out for each other. Because when Andy grabbed that hair, oh, she don't play. She does not play. Zora said, thank goodness I'd rather learn more about them and where their relationship will go. Well, she didn't confirm that, but when the person said it's the first Afro-Latina, she agreed and said yes. So, y'all don't want to accept. All right. Painted by Esther. Painted by Esther has been doing her makeup this entire time. Something big is coming. Something big is coming. It's hard being the Beyonce of humanity. Give me shelter. Latinos always become Afro-Latino when they are exposed for anti-African American hate. Follow the patterns. They aren't slick. Zora said, has Amaya spoken about her colorist repost claiming to be Afro-Latina doesn't negate the harm she calls to Black people, especially dark-skinned people. Wake it up. Little Shorty said Andy shaded Nick by referencing his 45 seconds with Sierra. He is so shady. I didn't think it was shady. I think it was creepy. I think he's attracted to Nick. I think Nick is somebody he would go for. Because there was a lot of anything sexual was directed to him. And that comment about his backside. Don't go to no meetings alone, baby. Jen said, I don't for 1 minute believe those vowel posts of Amaya's were doctored. I don't think so either. She said them. Listen, for some reason, I won't say some reason. We have talked about this before. Now, as a millennial, we grew up, for millennials and Gen X as well, grew up thinking the internet was a bad place, right? So you weren't really on it like that. Then you have Gen Z and Gen Alpha, especially the younger Gen Z and older Gen Alpha. They are literally raised on the internet. So they are used to being exposed to some really sick stuff very early on. So they are completely desensitized when they become adults. Like they're watching like murder porn and things of that nature. They're watching animals be crushed. You know, they're in these places where neo-Nazis are like teaching them how to kill and rape women. Like they're in really dark places, and they have a lot of podcasters and streamers who are like these shock jocks and saying these like outrageous things. Some stuff they don't really believe, but it's just like they're saying these outrageous, racist, and misogynistic and very murderous things to just get attention and go viral. But when you have really young people watching you and digesting that information, they don't necessarily know that you are just saying it to get a reaction. They don't know that this is your dark comedy. They're thinking that this is a real idea, a real thought, and they're processing it as a real idea and a real thought that they are going to have. So these kids are growing up very racist, very misogynistic, very classist, very anti-everything that is not white, because they are being literally raised by neo-Nazis. And I get it. The parents, a lot of them come from middle-class homes, middle and working-class homes. The parents are overworked and underpaid. So you throw an iPad in front of your kid, or they're on their phone, give them the phone so you can have 5 minutes of peace to yourself. But then we have this. We have young people writing the most racist and vile things ever on the internet, because at that time, that is what they believed, to the point where we're all like, who the hell is going to be on Love Island season 8? Because there's no way you're not going to find a cast member who grew up on the internet who has not said something vile, who has not said something racist, who has not said something homophobic or transphobic. You're not going to find it. Who has not attacked the Asian community in some way, who has not attacked the Jewish community or the Latino community in some way. You're just not going to find it. Because for a lot of them, they have been raised on the internet by the worst kinds of people. And that unregulated mind with no frontal lobe digested all of that and spewed it back out. So I do believe that she wrote those things. I do believe that she thinks those things. She might still think the same way, or she probably has grown up and evolved. But unfortunately for that generation, all of their vile thoughts are online, and whatever you put online lives forever. So that's going to chase her for the rest of her life. But she probably don't even feel that way anymore. But that is the problem that we're having. And I don't know how the hell they're going to find squeaky clean people for Love Island season 8. It's not with this internet generation. Simply Simone said both their moms are calling them son and daughter-in-law. They are planning that wedding in the group chat. Absolutely. Absolutely. Truffle pasta. And Amaya laughed. They are not together. They are not together. Give Me Shelter said, no excuse. Even at the age of 14, and even if I were only directed to Black American women, Amaya had no right to perform a written dissection of Black women's genitalia. As an Afro-Latina, you would think she would have known better. You think so? And listen, I'm also not putting this on the internet. I know that a lot of these young people have, been raised in home with vile adults as well. I'm just saying that this is what we're dealing with. A lot of this is because of what young people are digesting on the internet. I think we talked about this before. We have. When I was talking about that viral clip of this streamer, I believe his name is Sneeko, and he ran into his fans at a baseball game, and he was shocked because he didn't know his fans were such young boys. These boys were like no older than 10, and they were running up to him and they were screaming everything that he was saying, that he said on all of his lives and his streams. And they were saying trans people are bad, right? And we need to kill all women. He was like, no, say that. No, say that. Black people are evil. Like they were saying what he has said to like be a shock jock or whatever. Those little boys were saying that back to him. He was embarrassed. He was like, why are you watching me? You're so young. But that's the audience that is watching and digesting that information. And those kids are literally screaming back to him what they learned from him. when that little boy was screaming at him about harming trans people. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But that's just a reality. And I know that the parents in the homes that they grow up in, the environments, are also responsible. But I don't think that the parents today are very conscious about how much time their kids spend on the internet and how much time other people, nefarious people, are raising your children. Misfit said, Ace wants control of his brand back in his hands, so he is avoiding doing too much Love Island branded stuff. Smart. They're bigger than Love Island. I would do the same thing. LaDonna said, Ace got into LA late. This appearance was before the reunion. You can tell because Shelley still had her blonde hair. She came straight from New Orleans. Her hair is back black from the reunion. You are right. You are right. Yeah, I just felt like, I don't think she meant any harm, but it was just like, I was just like, you got to be careful, mama. You got to be careful. You got a big platform. You have to be careful. Always Price says she needs to drop the country label. She is a model now and she is international. I agree. I'm just like, you want to be this down home country bumpkin, but that's not the platform that you have. So let's be mindful, mama. Yeah, she doesn't want to alienate people from her brand. Yeah, I agree. That's the thing. I'm like, when you're saying that about women in Houston, I'm like, one could very easily lean into, oh, you're talking about Black women. And that is the community that got you here. You don't want to piss off the audience. You don't want to piss off the people that are keeping your lights on, child. But here's the thing. That's who she is. She constantly talks about being a down home Southern girl, and she keeps on talking about religion. And I'm just like, been there. Been there. Emmy said, completely agree, especially if she's wanting to work with a variety of people in the modeling industry, especially if she wants to work in LA. Baby, these are city people that are making these decisions. So Steph said, Houston is super Black. What the F is she talking about? Yeah, her PR needs to pull her coattail on that. Yeah. Unique says she should have just said the people in the city move in a faster pace than a Southern woman. I agree. Ashley said, it's sad that she will inevitably be picked at over and over for every little thing she says when it's inconsequential. Yeah. That's why, honestly, guys, that's why Beyonce stopped talking to us. That's why Beyonce stopped talking to us, and what a great thing she did. Me too. I was like, I wouldn't have said that, Ola. I wouldn't have said it. I wouldn't have said it. Stop. I'm not an influencer. No, I'm not offended by the micro. I didn't even think I was an influencer. I'm not offended by that. Don't worry. Y'all are so sweet, but I'm not. That didn't offend me. Mr. said the submissive comments are what stood out to me, but it's crazy to remember these were all regular people. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, she has to. She just needs some time. She'll be fine. But I'm like, if she's going to continue to go on these podcasts, some things we need to stay away from. Paula Girl said, I didn't mind her explaining where she's from, but I see what you mean. It's her first foray out of the South, sweet girl. Yeah. But this is the thing. I didn't necessarily have a problem with it. I was just like, I see how it could be a problem. And when you have so many people who do not want you to win, you just got to walk a fine line and don't give me no ammo. She's been doing great this whole time. She'll be fine. Nina, hey, said, hi, NikkiNicoleStar fam. I'm usually a part of the replay gang, and I always get so excited when I catch a live. Love you too, and thank you for being here. No, she said she is the eldest of 6. So her mom probably has 2, but the dad probably got 4. Jesus. Well, she said that they were teenagers. It just never clocked to me. I was like, she is almost 30, so it does mix up. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I said, oh Lord. Millennials parents can have 30-year-olds? I'm doing a math. Jesus. Jesus. Oh, Lord. I'll say, ooh. Wait, are they 80s babies? They are 80s babies. Lord, 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 Lord. Kirby said, I was born when my parents were 43. My eldest sister was in her 20s and pregnant. You know, I've been seeing it a lot. I've been seeing, like, for some reason, like, women are starting over again in their 40s being parents, and they have like a 20-year-old. First of all, I see that so much in LA and especially back home, where I'm just like, what is going on? Why are y'all getting extra active in the 40s? Calm the puss down. You about to have a toddler. The Whitney edit said, oh, you're right. Millennials are born between, yeah, they're 80s babies. Her parents are 80s babies. I said, ooh, huh? Nicole said, yes, it makes sense now why her and her mom really have a girlfriend relationship. It's giving Bama Gilmore girls. Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. You know what? I am still watching it, but you guys didn't seem like y'all really liked it. So I just stopped reviewing it. But if you guys are still interested, I'll actually put up something about it. Takua said she didn't date till college. It was in a 3.5-year relationship. She was so green going into the show. Yep. And now look at her. Happy as a clam. Kate said Alondria was just looking in the wrong direction at the wrong complexion. Yep. But that's okay. Look at our girl now. You all right? Yeah, that's why we love her. She's a real deal. I love her and Shelley. And I love how much she loves Shelley. I love their relationship. Misfit says she seems real genuine. The influencer industry is disgusting, though, full of performers and users. She's not the type to suffer fools, though. Yeah, she'll be okay. She'll be okay. Give me shelter and said, and that's exactly what the white adjacent people did. It never fails. Oh, yeah, Mammy and her. Alexa said, ironically, Nick and Ola were the villa therapists. True. Naya said, you mammy them and they will take all your nutrients. You better preach. Hallelujah. Sophie said they should all watch the show. At least they will have an idea why assumptions were made. That's what I think. But you know what? If they like it, I hate it. T. Patrice said, it is unfortunate that no one watched the full season, but wouldn't you think their family and friends would have let them know what was shown and said? Yeah, but if they have time, you know, Alondria was home once. And that's it. She doesn't plan on, not saying she doesn't plan on going home, but she can't. She has so much stuff going on. Fashion Week is coming up. She can't be in Bama. She got a lot going on. Naya said, Nick's mom just had on a Nicolondria shirt and said, my son and daughter-in-law, the mamas are planning the wedding. Oh my God, I can't. I fear we're going to be locked in with them forever. I fear. Hey, Blended said, Nick's mom just said on TikTok video that she loves her daughter. I love it. Naya said, her explaining this to Molly's mama just let me know that Nick clocked everything. And the way he was moving on that podcast with those girls. Yep. I like the fact that they are having those conversations. It's very obvious. And he knows when to step in, when to protect her. I love them. I love them. For any man, dating any straight man is scary. First of all, I will say this. When Miley's mama was talking about how she had Miley on the show and how Miley, you know, the things that Miley was saying about her mom, how she's such a country bumpkin, I was just like, oh my God, they made up. See, I didn't know. The last thing I know about them was that they were all fighting and Miley didn't go to her mom's wedding because they were all fighting because I think the stepdad was dating one of the daughters at some point and then the mom, whatever. It was real messy. But they weren't talking and Miley didn't go to her wedding. So when she was talking about Miley, I was just like, oh my God, they made up. They're close again. I was so happy. Soft and Spicy said, I already clocked that, but I'm glad that she was comfortable expressing herself openly. And to do it to a white woman of all people, a white woman from Kentucky. Maybe it was a Southern thing to make her feel comfortable. Zayoza said, y'all should be scared of getting into relationships with black, any man. Any man. Poliver said that's the difference. But when they love you, they'll show respect. That's how I knew with my hub. They show you how. Yep. If they're like a Nick or a Prince Harry, do it. Do it. Let's get with Emmy. Emmy said Alondria and Shelley will be cool roommates, but I think Alondria will have her own place. She is very particular. I hope she does. She needs it. Let Nick be next door. Betty said, OMG, someone sent Nick, sis, Ella, and mom Jennifer, aka Baltimore bed. Oh, Nikki, yeah. Yeah. I love it. Misfit said, I think there are certain things about their journey that they've agreed to keep behind closed doors. She knew he was feeling her. She just held back. Pepe peeped all as well. Yeah. I think, guys, the core four in general, I think they're moving at a very healthy pace. I think that they know what they're doing and they'll be fine. Alexa said, is Kiki still going to drop the Nick and Taylor interview that everybody forgot about and is now stale as hell? I don't know. I have no idea. Yasmin said, I don't think Ola and Nick are going to move in together. I hope Nick doesn't room with anybody. Me too. I think they both need to just live probably in the same apartment complex, and that's it. And they need to live by themselves. Nick doesn't need a roommate. He needs to grow up in other areas. Alexa said, it's Kiki. Oh, I got that. He sure is. And I love that for Alandria. Zora said, what Nick is doing is called anti-cipitort service. I don't think it'll be Ola submitted. I don't know what that is. Zora, is that freaky? I don't want to. Is this something I could look up? You know, I don't want this in my search history, just in case. Let me go private, child. Am I private? There it is. Anti-cipitort. Anti-cipitort. Lord. Is that nothing that nasty? Oh, what? No, not oh my goodness. They showed me anticipatory. Is that what you meant? Anita? Is it Anita? No, it's anti-cipitort. Yeah. Oh, well, he just anticipates something? What that mean? What does that mean, Zora? Is it something freaky? What does that mean? Yeah, it's a little too late. It's a little too late. It's a little too late. Betty said, I still need Shelley to sue. That apology wasn't much of an apology, in my opinion. I didn't see we apologize, Shelley, or we are sorry in that caption. They said it was a mistake. She needs to. She needs to. I'll be suing everybody. Blended Dream said exactly. BuzzFeed has access to the season 6 cast and lost access to the season 7 cast. That apology was too late and wasn't genuine. You are right. You are right. Give yourself to said BuzzFeed bye. We don't care. We've seen it for years with Bravo. They apologize for incidents on every show, every season, and then they do the same thing over and over again. Should have never did what you did. I agree. All Day Finesse said, and why did they choose? Yeah, there are so many photos of Shelley. So many photos. Please. Carrot Mom said they do not need to talk to BuzzFeed. They threaten violence, kick rocks. Yep. Risa says the audacity to apologize and then send people a link to capture engagement. Yep. But they didn't apologize. They turned it into a teaching moment for other media companies. What? Yeah, that's what it is. Everything is political. They feel like it's safe now to harm those same communities that keeps the lights on for all of their companies. But they're finding out. BY said, always remember those who can harm you even after the apology. They are not worthy of your respect or attention. You are right. You are right. LSS said, have you read the op-ed from Preston about the current status of Black reality TV? He went in. No, I have not. Can you please send it to me? Jess Jonda said, this BuzzFeed word salad is garbage. They still sidestep taking accountability for harm calls to this Black woman, they cause harm to Shelley. I agree. The Whitney edit said, okay, I just looked it up and realized it was just an Instagram post. But what does Tasty, a food blog, have to do with Love Island? OMG, this is what happens when you cannot stay in your lane. You are right. They were just trying to be a part of the viralness that was Love Island, and they missed the mark. ST13 said, so a white person posted the original post, but they refused to put their Black workers, but they put their Black workers to write the BuzzFeed apology and sanitize the company's image. There you go. There you go. The Divine One said, is the apology in the room or did I miss it? Denise says, so BuzzFeed had their Black employees give a statement that is not a part of their job description. Yep. Give Me Shelter said, they think we are stupid when Black people have proven to be the best students and teachers of history. At this point, they are just talking to themselves. No more cookout invites. If we catch you, you will no longer be invited yourself. Betty said, I thought Amaya named the final four girls as who she was closest to outside the villa. Pretty sure she said Huda, Iris, and Alandria. Yeah, I was saying she didn't mention Shelley, but I was just shocked because I'm just like, Shelley's the reason why you're on the show. But, you know, they don't got to be best friends. I think they both did. Brian said, I'm getting a Rolex. He is not ready to be a husband. Give Me Shelter said, TikTok does lie. They are testing those AI fakes. So many AI-based accounts, unless they provide a source or I've sourced myself, I block. Yeah, I can't take that Pepe lady, that Pepe's girlfriend thing seriously. Not saying that I don't think that she would be his type or that she had dated him or that he's, you know, so great in bed. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is I need a bit more proof before I put it on my platform. Ice Macchiato said Huda has no friends except Amaya, and her revisionist stands are saying it's because the Islander talk ish about her. They're trying to make an excuse because they are becoming very jealous of the fact that, you know, the people that they hated on are getting opportunities they think Huda should have. Nasby said, I can walk in stilettos, but after I got into my late 20s, chunky heels became my go-tos. Looking out for my foot health currently and in advance. Oh, yeah. I left them things alone. It ain't worth it. I looked amazing in a dress, but I'm like, my ankles hurt. Alexa said, what are Clark's aspirations? Does she also want to model? Her post-Villa life seems to be all about Taylor. I absolutely agree. I'm like, Clark, what are we doing for you? Everything is about Taylor. But remember, we talked about it, and I said, I feel like Clark has a great opportunity here with the show, right? But I think that Clark is ready to be like a mom and a wife. I think her current reality, I think, is what she wanted. I want her to know she's bigger than that, though, at least right now. Like, if I were her, I would go after the opportunities that are here for me and not settle down into being a trad wife. Betty said, OMG, Alandria will eat as a Victoria's Secret angel. She would. I hope they make that happen. Her petite and curvy figure is insane. They better give her some wings. If they give her some wings, woo! I'm sorry, Mama. I didn't mean to talk about your baby girl. Baby girl. Misfit said if Jess actually cared, she would be calling or DMing her behind the scenes. That's what Black women who care about Black women do. Yeah, but she's not a happy person. She's going through some things. Let's pray for her peace. Zora said there is an amazing video by a Black trans man that breaks down Jess Hilarious transphobia down. It was so informative. Is the gist of it the fact that there's a jealousy there? It has to be. It's weird. It's weird. Opulent said the algorithm finally did its thing for me, but I'm glad it's the core four. I worry for future seasons of Love Island, though. Listen, I won't know what happens with them. I'm out. Be Yourself said the guy asked Amaya how she feels about being the first Afro-Latina to win Love Island. She completely, y'all not letting up on that. Y'all not letting up. Lavender Girl said lavender is a top tier color and a tea choice. That's just fact. Period. Betty said, I think Nick and 3D are friends. He went to stay with 3. Oh, yeah, they're all friends. No, he mentioned that. He said, those are my boys. And at the end of the season, Ace called them brothers. Always Prices said, this is such a sad reality and exactly how we got to the place we are with this administration. True. Homebody Brit, what's up? Said, I just can't understand why being a decent person is so hard and decent is at the bottom of the bar. I think it's because we normalize hate. Like back in the day, we had Howard Stern, right? But he was always some sort of pariah. He was always like, we knew who he was and what he did. We didn't normalize it. And now, because the media has embraced these warped minds and are trying to normalize them, we're here. Because I got a bone to pick with Abby Phillips. Why in the hell is Jillian Michaels on your show talking about politics? What the hell does she know about politics? But that's the thing. You're normalizing idiots. You're normalizing idiots. You're giving these idiots a platform, and here we are. And here we are. And now everybody is trying to switch it up and apologize and all this stuff a little too late. The Divine One said, impressionable children need to have parents supervising all of their interactions online. You are right. Effie said, I'm from New York, and I can tell you without a doubt that Amaya's comments were not doctored. She definitely said, oh yeah, she absolutely said that. Absolutely. He had a huge platform. But the sad thing about Kevin Samuels is he was, his platform was mainly very positive, and it was about uplifting Black women. He did one video critiquing Black women, and it went viral, and he switched up his grift ever since. And now look at him. No longer here. And has a terrible legacy. No, she said she made a comment, Raven, about Houston women as well. That all they want is money, and that they're not like her. They're not like, basically saying they're not good Southern girls. It was wrong. It was wrong. And I don't think she'll say that again. Homebody Brit said, my 9-year-old nephew asked me how to get on Twitch. I said, yeah, not happening. Not happening. But see, this is the thing. We're living at a time where unfortunately for those kids, all the things that were kid-centered are gone. That's why the kids are in Sephora. The Claire's is closing down. That's why the kids want Fashion Nova, because they don't have a justice. There's no third spaces for kids. There's no, the funding is being taken, so they don't have recreation centers anymore. Now they're getting rid of PBS. They don't have anywhere to go. There's nothing. America is not kid friendly. And it's unfortunate. I'm gonna mind my business. Devonda said, so she grew up with her mom raising her and her taking care of helping her mom with her siblings. Okay. Devonda, why was that important to say stud sister? You know what? Mama Star said, Alandria's team needs to step up with some media training at this point. They need to tell her what topics to stay away from. Here's the thing. The Southern girl is who she is. The thing is, she's no longer a Southern girl. That's the thing. She's bigger than her Southern roots. So she just got to figure that out. But I think she got it. Simply Simone said Miley was in the wedding. Okay. It was her little sister Noah and her brother that did. Okay. Thank you. So wait, is her mom doing the podcast with her little sister? Is that the little sister, right? Paula Girl said anticipatory means Nikki Poo will be at Ola's Beck. Okay. Because I was like, what is this? What is this? He anticipates her needs. Okay. So I want an anticipatory man too. Khaleesi said, I don't know where people get that Nick's a sub. Have you seen that man step up to be the man she needs? Please. Being the person Ola is, I don't see her with the submissive man. All right, guys. My mama's in this chat. What's his purpose? It's like they know they need to apologize, but the racism in them just couldn't. Very true. Ice Macchiato said, yeah, I want to know who Clark is. I still don't like her with Taylor, but I get it for now. Yeah, I want her to, but this is the thing. The Southern girls, this is a problem with a lot of them. Brittany said Clark and Hood are both Carolina girls. Her whole life is Taylor, just like Hood. Yeah. See, we talked about it. Let me get a couple of my super chats, and then I'm going to get some final comments, and I'm going to get out of here, fam. Thank you so much, Effie, for the super chat. Effie said, I'm loving this hair on you, Nikki. Thank you so much. Christina, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, wait, let me. Love you too, sis. Christina, thank you for another super chat. Christina said, one more for Mama Star because I love y'all. Thank you, sweetie. And thank you, Zora, for the clarity. Oh, thank you so much. I love that place. I'm actually going there this weekend and I'm cleaning up. I couldn't go into Joann's or Party City, but I'm going to go into Claire's. Everything that I love is going. I'm telling you, if Hot Topic closes, I'm going to lose it. Hot Topic is in Journeys, I'm going to lose it. What are we going to have? What are we going to have? Give Michelle said there are no third or fourth spaces for adults or children. That's sad. You can tell a lot about a nation from how they treat their children and their homeless population. Absolutely. Miss Brown Chicken said, I didn't think I would be able to catch this live. Baby, y'all are going late. Y'all know how we get with these lives. They can go on. They can go on. Sippy Simone said Tish is doing the podcast with her eldest daughter. There's another one? All right, Tish. How many baby daddies? All right, girl. All right, Christian girl from Kentucky. Sarah said Tish started dating and eventually married her youngest daughter. You know what? Like you was talking about God on that podcast. You know, let me mind my business. Unique said Tish's podcast is with the other daughter, Brandy, not Noah. If they take my Hot Topic, I hope so. I hope so, Ice Macchiato. This is gonna be my final comment. Miss Brown Sugar said, to be honest, I want Landria to feel more comfortable letting that deep Alabama accent out. Sometimes I can feel her stumbling when she's trying to code switch and hide that drawl. Set yourself free, sis. I agree. Same thing with Amaya. Star family. We've been here a minute. We gotta go. Tomorrow I'm going to do a reality TV chat for the Real Housewives of Miami and Orange County. My day is a little jam-packed, so I'm going to see if I can get in the live for Love Island UK. If I am able to get it in, it's probably going to be late because remember, I said that we were going to do Friday Night Lives again for Love at the Lockup, but for some reason, I'm not getting Love at the Lockup. It's not coming on at 6 like it should be. I'm going to try again next week. And if it doesn't come on at 6 for us next week, then I'm just going to do that live on Monday. But I'm going to try to get in 2 lives tomorrow, one for the Bravo Housewife shows and another for Love Island UK. We will see. I'm doing my best, y'all. I'm doing my best. I would love if they moved in together. I really, really would. I really, really would. And you know, I would just love. Yeah, I love them. Those are my girls. Those are my girls. Anyway, I love y'all, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye. Fall is just around the corner, guys. Aren't you excited? I am. It's coming. Love y'all. Bye.